It's your boy Mullah. This week at that five. We back with another one on Dave. Five things that Dave predicted that came true. Let's see what these five things are. People, let's go.
Smith. When audiences go to a Dave Chappelle show, they're going to be doing more than just laughing. The same goes for the iconic Chappelle show. The show, along with his stand up, provided many examples that prove the show was way ahead of its time. Politics, racism, celebrity scandals, gender, and equality issues are all heavy on their own, but Chappelle has been able to tackle these topics with humor and thought. Chappelle has always used his comedy to comment on the way we behave, think, and act. Some of his jokes have even come true years after they were told. Here are 5 warnings from Dave Chappelle that came true.
That came true.
First, at number 5, Chappelle predicted the popularity of CBD. CBD is the second most prevalent ingredient in cannabis. While CBD is an essential component of marijuana, it's derived directly from the hemp plant, which is a cousin of the marijuana plant. In a Chappelle Show sketch called Oh Dweeds, this is the first brand of marijuana that doesn't contain THC. The name makes fun of O'Doul's, a non-alcoholic beer. Fast forward to 2019, and CBD and hemp shops are found everywhere in America. This is due to the legalization of industrial hemp thanks to the U.S. Farm Bill in 2018. These shops have become so popular in American culture, we wonder how Chappelle predicted this phenomenon. Coming in at number 4, we've got police conspiracies involving people. Chappelle's 2000 HBO special, Killing 'Em Softly, is filled with jokes about race and black people's relationship with the police. One bit in particular, Chappelle would joke about not wanting to call the police because his house is too nice. The cops would come over, assume Chappelle is a robber, and they'd shoot and sprinkle crack on him.
Yep.
Don't you think it's a little suspicious that every dead black person the police find has crack sprinkled on them? Come on, man. Who gets shot and sprinkles crack on themselves? Chappelle's jokes would come to life countless times after the bit, like Detective James Arbini, who was a 14-year veteran of the New York City Police Department. He was convicted of planting crack on a woman and her boyfriend back in 2007. To make matters worse, during the trial, a detective testified that officers planted drugs on innocent people often. And most recently, Amber Geiger, a police officer in Dallas, Texas, would kill her black neighbor, Botham Jean, because she thought he was in the wrong apartment.
Right.
At number 3, we find out that Chappelle was right about the Me Too movement. Chappelle had many people up in arms when he released his 4th Netflix special, The Bird Revelation, back in December 2017. In the special, Chappelle would joke about Louis C.K. and the many sexual misconduct allegations that surfaced that year. Chappelle said that the men were wrong for what they did, but he didn't agree with the way women were going about the movement. You're making the bad guys scared, but as soon as they're not scared anymore, it's going to get worse than it was before. Fear does not create lasting peace. Chappelle also stated that it was going to be hard for women to move forward. Unfortunately, things did get harder for women, as Chappelle would say in Sticks and Stones. Since the release of The Bird Revelation, 9 states had passed one of the strictest abortion laws that America had ever seen. These states have outlawed abortion if a heartbeat is detected, which can be detected as early as 6 weeks, before some women even find out that they're pregnant.
All right.
This is just another example of Chappelle warning us what might happen in the future. Next on our list, Chappelle was right about people looking at celebrities and us looking at celebrities for answers beyond entertainment. Dave would discuss this in For What It's Worth. Right after 9/11, they had Ja Rule on MTV. They said, let's hear what Ja's thoughts are on this. Who gives a fuck what Ja Rule thinks at a time like this? I don't want to dance, I'm scared to death. I want some answers that Ja Rule might not have right now. You think when bad shit happens, I'm in my crib like, oh my God, this is terrible. Could somebody please find Ja Rule so I can make sense of all this? Chappelle's simple joke would turn into a reality when Fox News invited Ja Rule on their show to give his thoughts on the 2016 presidential election and who he would be looking to vote for. Judging from fan reactions to Ja Rule's take on politics, Chappelle was right. And finally, at number 1, Chappelle was always right when it came to the trial of Michael Jackson. Chappelle has always been skeptical of the accusers in the Michael Jackson trial. This is something that he would make known in his 2004 Showtime special, For What It's Worth. In the hour-long stand-up set, filmed in San Francisco, Chappelle questioned why a 10-year-old would want to meet Michael Jackson.
Right.
This kid is 10 years old. He doesn't remember Thriller. What do you want to meet Michael Jackson for? I remember Thriller, and I only kind of want to meet him, Chappelle joked. From the beginning, Chappelle always knew the details of the case didn't add up. A year after the special was released, Jackson was acquitted on all charges related to the abuse of the underage child. It would later be revealed that the 14-year-old boy who testified against Jackson was lying under oath. The family had had a history of filing false claims in order to get money.
Up. Somebody get locked up?
When one of the attorneys asked the boy to tell the jury why he lied under oath, he responded, "I don't remember. It was 5 years ago. I don't remember nothing."
Wow.
Shortly after Jackson's acquittal, the mother of the young boy, Janet Arvizo, was charged with fraud and perjury.
Right, somebody got to get locked
up. Conclusion that the family lacked credibility and that the charges were false.
You going to jail.
During Jackson's 2005 trial, Wade Robeson defended Jackson and claimed that he was never touched inappropriately. Several years later, in 2013, Jackson would be accused of child molestation yet again, this time by Robeson and James Safechuck. Investigators would find many inconsistencies in Robeson's story. When asked about some of the discrepancies, Robeson claimed that his memories had evolved.
Wow.
Chappelle would double down on his Michael Jackson take in 2019 Sticks and Stones. I do not believe it. Chappelle would reiterate while mentioning the fact that Macaulay Culkin claimed he was never abused by Jackson, something that Robeson himself once said. Chappelle's humor has always been insightful and smart, but no one could have predicted that some of the stand-up sketches and stand-up routines would actually come true. For Comedy Hype News, I'm Dom.
Well, Dave Chappelle, you talking politics, man. Without talking politics, that's slick. That's a good one, man. That's nice. But hey, it's your boy Mullah. This week got that 5. And I'll be back with another one. And I'm out of here. Wow.